All right, ladies and gentlemen, traders, welcome back to another Relentless recap. Quick update. I believe I'm going to implement a new change for the recaps. I'm going to start releasing them earlier. I believe I'm going to try to aim for 2 to 3 p.m., even 1 p.m., really, Eastern time. I usually wait till after close to do the recap so that everything is done, all the trading that I'm doing is done, but it's starting to get into the way of some other things I'm doing. So I think I'm gonna just put out the 1 p.m., 2 p.m. recaps. If I do end up trading before the day is over, then we'll just see it either the next day we'll talk about it, or maybe in a monthly recap or something, because this is throwing me off. Right now I should already be out of the office, but I have to come back to get this recap out. So of course hit that thumbs up. Today we're going to be talking about how I was able to make over 1K, but we're also going to talk about the hardship that we went through, because we started the day in the first 7 minutes, we were up $3,000 in the first 7 minutes of the open. But we ran into some complications. We second guessed some key trades. That was a big part of it, as well as stocks coming down and not quite hitting my limit orders, preventing me from being in full size. A combination of those things, man, they should have been much better. And the lack of aggression, I still think we need to put out a little bit more risk. And so, I was thinking to myself before this recap how I want to approach the day tomorrow. And I am going to be more aggressive. I thought about it, right? Usually I just show up and try to trade and just kind of go from there, read the temperature. But tomorrow there'll be more orchestrated, more planning behind the type of size I'm putting out and the price range that we're putting out that size on. So expect to see more aggression from me, and what that means, there'll be bigger swings, but primarily to the green side, because we're going to be looking to be very dialed and disciplined in our setups. All right, so keep that in mind for tomorrow. But before we really jump into today's recap, remember the disclaimer, which is that day trading is risky. A lot of people are having a hard time. A lot of people are losing money. Take it slow, build experience, become competent before sizing up. Remember, these results that you see from me are not typical. Remember to always go slow first. Other than that, copy trading does not work on live streams. And then lastly, I do not invest for my subscribers. So always stay safe and be careful. Hit that thumbs up. Let's jump into it. So we had ticker symbols TNON, ticker symbols MLOG, ticker symbol DATS, and PAOI. I believe I was up over 1K on every single ticker, including DM as well, before giving back. I believe I was up over 1K on every single ticker, maybe except POAI, but we'll double check. So we started off with TNON. Let's talk about the patterns, the setups that we traded here. TNON. Man, so this one started off in pre-market, and guys, I mean, honestly, pre-market, man, right now I think is the time to show up for pre-market, because look at this stock from 6:15 a.m. It's pushing 300,000 shares per candlestick, which is quite absurd. Honestly, it's quite absurd. It is quite absurd. A bit of a false, push right here before finally basing out. A little pre-market though, it's always its own ball game. It's a little bit more tricky in my opinion. But when this thing finally based out, man, the uptrend was on, and it just kept going. It just kept going, man. These type of areas like this is more similar and reminiscent to the open. These type of flags, 3-bar plays. So this thing was really strong, and we got a high point of 606 before the massive pullback and then the consolidation. And so into the open, for me, the first 2 to 3 minutes, I've been looking to take slow, and similar to yesterday and the day before with MLGO and other stocks, this one started off and just took off. I mean, low of 424, 1 minute candle made the new high, it pushed up to 489, and then from a dip of 55 ripped up to 525. I basically traded none of this, none of it. But on the first pullback here down to 60 is where I started getting involved, and then also scalping for the 1 minute candle to make the new high here off this bull flag. So over 507, it ripped up to 550, and that's where I was able to get myself on the scoreboard. And believe it or not, man, I think like by the end of this candle, we're already up 3K. So we had some really great trades. We had some really great trades in here. And from there, the stock pulled back. We had lows of 496. The high was 550. And, it consolidated for a while and ripped up to 585. All the way to 585. We sadly, guys, we basically caught this move. We caught this move. We didn't get it from like the bottom or anything, but we caught the breakout in, out, and I did. This is the same trade. This loss that I'm gonna take here is the same exact loss that I took on a resumption on Friday. Like I already caught the big breakout, and then what I tried to do, if you guys are to look like a 10-second chart, the stock pulled back to 40 and I bought again thinking it's going to retest the highs, all within this 1 minute candle, and instead of it bouncing back up, it gave a colossal drop and I stopped out at the bottom. So I went from 3K to then 2K, and then I tried taking this pullback here thinking maybe we could see one more hurrah and curl back up, and that was it. So I lost another 300. Luckily, I got out early. I got out early because if not, it would have been another like 2K, 1K loss. And I've been back to flat. And this is why it's important never to average down, past your stop, because you can get caught in a big dropout like this. And sometimes these stocks, they don't recover. This one did curl back up a little bit, but typically we don't even see a bounce like this, right? I mean, look at some of the areas, right, that this thing had. Like if we're to look at some of these candlesticks, we really got to avoid these type of red candles, man. Like if you can avoid those already, you're doing such a great job, Even this one right here, and look at this. This is brutal. This is brutal right here. To get caught in that, especially if you're potentially looking to buy low, if you get caught in this, it might shake you up a little bit. You might miss this bounce. That could be tough. So TNON, pretty good stuff. For missing the first 3 minutes, I think we did pretty well. We didn't trade any of this type of price action going up later in the day, in the morning. So I thought, great stuff. All in all, despite even like chasing this entry again, still pretty good. But we gotta get that trade out of my system. I gotta get rid of taking that trade, man. That is gonna be a work in progress, because I gotta just not do it. I gotta write it down. Let's write it down here. All right, I wrote it down. I think, once I go over my game plan for tomorrow, we add this in. That way it's fresh in my mind, and we can do a bit of a better job. So that was TNON. Not too bad. Next stock that came along was, let's see, DM. I think DM, we went up. I don't think we got quite to 1K. We got to 600. And I saw this one, of course, opportunity is going to cost. I saw this one all the way here is where I first saw it. So I was a little late to the show. Sometimes you just wish only one stock would move at a time. That way you could, I actually clicked on the wrong one here. Hold up. Let me just double. Yeah, DM. I think DATS we did see all the way over here. But anyhow, DM. Where's DM? DM. DM. Okay. The first trade came at 47, which should have been right in this area here. Okay. So this one, it broke out over this range here and pulled back into the VWAP and the 200 EMA. And so it curled up to 47 and basically double topped. A little disappointing because we wanted to see this flag curl up. So we did well in this consolidation. You know, we took a dip. We then took the 1 minute candle to make the new high, scaled out, and then we bought back here thinking this thing would hold up and maybe try again in this range, and we got cooked. We were in and out. Murdered. So we ended up leaving it alone, and it did give a bit of a bear flag breakout here, but I wasn't around to see this. So from about 412 to 440, and then a false breakout up at 450. So that was all that one was. So I think plus 650 back to flat, only walked away 40 bucks. And then I think it was the ATS. So the ATS now at 955. And so I'm noticing here there's a gap. So 53, well, 2 minutes, only 2 minutes. That's not too bad. So yeah, as I pulled this one up, it was basically in this range here. So it already gave a pullback. You know, I'm nowhere to be seen. High of day was initially 390. It pushed up to 450, pulled back to 407, and just took off. I mean, this thing took off. It got from 450 up to 530, guys. 530. Quick dip here to 457. Rips back up. I think right here, I only was able to get a small position. It rips back up and then gives a beautiful flag. Makes the new high. I think I bought at like 515. I think I added at 515 or I bought at 515 because I sold early and then it continued up. And you know, initially we're up like 1.4, and then this is where things started to get a little tricky, right? So my trade idea was to wait for the 5 minute pullback. The 5 minute setup. Wait for the 5 minute pullback. I had orders out, and with all the orders, the aggregate, I already did the math and everything before the recap. So we had lows initially at 75. My average would have been 85. So I would have been red 10 cents. Because, you know, you guys know the 5 minute setup, I'm looking to hold a little longer, right? To see how this thing is going to curl up into the new 5 minute candle. And if I was to stick to my original trade idea, I would have had the position and it would have been great. Instead, I canceled the orders and I moved them up. And that was my issue. And I had them, I think, from like 5 to 490. And it just, I second guessed myself. And so I didn't have the position that I needed. And I would have been up unrealized 40 cents. More than likely, I would have took something off. Granted, this red candle, I think it's always important to expect an early pullback. This is more than an early pullback. This is what I thought at the time was a rejection. But thinking about what a rejection is, you know, it's probably not a rejection unless it really pulls back off of high of day. So this was an early pullback that was exaggerated, that broke down the previous lows. I think I would have stopped out. So not only did I fumble my original trade, you know, being up 40 plus cents with the position I would have had would have been around like 2K. So if I would have sold half or something, I would have at least made 1,000 on this trade rather than fumbling it. And so what ended up happening, when this candle flushed down, I started buying because I kind of overcompensated for missing the last 5 minute setup. So I started buying aggressively here. And that's not my plan. That's not my strategy. I don't want to just go all in, boom, 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 boom. I need to give this thing, you know, time to see how it's playing out and then scale in if I'm going to try the 5 minute setup. So I kind of like got a little too heavy too quick. And then I cut the trade for another loss. Not a big one here though, but I'm in at 76 average, and I sold, I believe, or I sold at 66. So I lost 1K. So at this point, between fumbling here and having little small losses and then a 1K loss, I'm now back to zero because I was up 1400. And fumbling, so I fumbled both of these pullbacks. Sadly, sadly. And I did a very poor job. I did a poor job of being able to continue to flow with the stock. I didn't continue to flow with the stock, meaning like if I just showed up, let's just assume I just woke up out of bed and I showed up right here. If I showed up right here out of bed and saw this thing, I'd scalp the living heck out of this move going up. But instead, I'm like pouting about missing this move in my mind. I might have been out loud too, I can't remember, but I basically lost focus. And I think again for me, when I go red, if I am to go red, I'm not doing a great job staying as locked in as I need to be for the next opportunities. It's like in my mind, even if I'm quiet on the stream sometimes trying to focus, in my mind I'm like, oh, the heck did I allow myself to miss that trade? Like what the heck, all this type of nonsense that you shouldn't even waste a second doing, because that's precious time you could be focusing on the next opportunity. So I then, as a result, miss all of this, all of this, all of it. And then, of course, after the massive flush, so what happened here basically ranks and repeat 3 times. I then try to take this dip, get stopped out, and it was just a disaster. At this point, it's like, okay, I need to switch to a new stock. So green 1400 to red 2600, and so I lost 1K here, lost 1K right here, and basically lost 1K like right here. I believe in those two areas. So it's like already 2K. One of those trades put me back to flat. The other one put me down 1K, and then some other chop and some other losses kind of did it to me, because I was at 1800, and when we just took losses, like trying to scalp stuff like that. Even in this range, like not being focused, it's kind of silly that I could like it seems like you have all the experience and the intuition, and because you kind of get distracted, whether frustration or something else, you're then at the mercies of the seas trying to trade this type of movements, which if you're in a normal mind space, this is like ABCD 1 2 3. This is part of the difficulty of trading, right? Is managing one's emotions. If I could be like a robot here mentally, starting tomorrow I could be making 20K a day. So it just shows you all the work that you have to go through. So coming back to the next stock now, so after DATS we had POAI. We don't look like we really traded this one that much. Yeah, don't look like we really got involved on that. So some more DATS, and then I believe MLGO. And MLGO, man. This is what I like to call an absolute blitz. I pulled this thing up. Initially, the volume, it was like right around here. Initially, the volume was a little lighter, but then I noticed, hey, we're pushing like 300K a candle. This is around like 1106. I'm like, okay, maybe I need to start paying more attention to this thing. And so I started watching, but I couldn't get a good grip early. We had the 3-bar play go from 1340. Like I wasn't able to trust the pullbacks early. But from 1340 to 14, to then 1425, to then 1470, to then 15, from 15 to 1425, and then ripped up to 16 and got halted up. I mean, I think right here though I should have been able to get in, but perhaps my orders might have been too low. But at 16 it got halted, and you guys know I'm famous for being able to trade the dip and rip. Sadly, on this dip and rip, like my brain was scrambled, and I wasn't able to process the resumption price on the open of the resumption. I took like a full 2 seconds to realize like we opened up and dipped. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Like it's like in that moment my brain was just fried, and I took 3 seconds, 2 seconds to figure out what was going on. By the time I tried to buy, the stock was up like 90 cents, and I have to just try to sell the position because it's just not the same trade anymore. And I told myself, hey, because this thing is extended, let's not repeat the mistake of trying to chase it after the first move up. So I didn't chase, which I think is the right call. And on this day, of course, the stock just keeps going. But that's fine. My goal is to never chase these entries. So again, we're building that discipline, right? We wrote it down even because this is the same trade again here, despite this one being a resumption. We cannot chase too aggressively. But this one, for anybody who chased it, it worked out. And chasing the entry probably would have been like buying it like 16.20. It goes to 18. It then dips to 17.76. Rips up to 18. Or rather, my bad, 15.50s. 15.55 and ripped up to 18. Because it was so extended, I didn't even trust these pullbacks. And this is a tough thing for me because I know the stock should give a bigger dip. There's no way we just went from 12.50 up to 18 and we only dropped down to 15. Like it's almost like I expected to see a 5-minute pullback, and we never got one. So I basically missed everything up until this real pullback here, where we then went from a high of 1968 down to 1654. This is technically the biggest pullback we had on the stock. So I got long right down here and I sold into the push, but honestly, I expected hive day again. It's like by the time we had the first 5-minute pullback, the stock was done. So we made 2K in this trade, or 1800. We made 1800. We did make like 800 scalping in this area because I'm like, yo, I'm not going out like this. Like, I gotta make something on this stock because at a certain point, it's like, I would never use the word embarrassment because trading is hard, trading is risky, but I still like to think maybe it's the inner arrogance. I don't know if it's arrogance or just confidence or whatever, but it's like deep down, it's like, bro, there's no way I'm not gonna not make money on this. So I'm like, I gotta do something. So I made 800 in this like area here, scalping. 1 minute candles to make the new highs. Couple of pullback trades, like right here, over 18, it ripped up to 1940, like areas like this. So I'm like, yo, I gotta make something. And then after this trade, we got up to like 25, and then that was it. But today should have been like a 6K day minimum for me. I think like minimum. But the future is bright. It's in just another day in the process of me improving. And so, in another couple of weeks, especially with this hotter markets, I think an adjustment I'm already seeing too is when it gets cold again, because nothing is going to hold up. So buying the first pullbacks aggressively is not going to make any sense. So, we got to be quick to adjust to when things are just not working. But I think right now is the time to go crazy for me. And so tomorrow I'm going to just try to go where I've never been before. Not try. No, there's no such thing as try. I am going to do it because I've already planned to do it. Again, other days it's more improvised. Hey, I'll check the temperature, then decide the size, see what I want to do now. Being that we're in this bit of a hot streak right here in terms of like hotter momentum, tomorrow I'm going to size up. And I accept the risk. So hit the thumbs up, subscribe, stay tuned. Remember, if you want to get involved and start learning how to trade, I have the day trading program here, the best one in the world. Let me pull it up for you guys. Merciless Markets, all right? Merciless Markets. the best day trading program to ever exist. Why? Because why is because I'm transparent and I show you everything. And I've already produced about 20 plus, 25 plus millionaire students. People who are on pace to hit $1 million years, right? People who've already hit over 5, 6, 7, 800K. I have to do more success. Again, there's so much going on for me, like not only as a trader, but also like running the business and then the personal life. Honestly, it's hard to do everything. And so, I'm still trying to get everything done in strides, and, I'm not in the ideal situation. So I do what I can, but it's still not an excuse. I still have to do a better job at getting out more success stories, more interviews, and so forth. That way, you guys can continue to see the success of our students. But yeah, check out the curriculum, check out the website. These are all your perks that are included in the full package. We live stream our scanners. We live stream everything that you guys can imagine scanner wise. We live stream in the chat, right? In our Discord chat room. The course includes tutorials, all that good stuff. We have our live trading archive library for not only myself but Marcelo and Triad, two of the other mentors here, and we also have coaching calls, rehab calls, review sessions, and more. All right. The A to Z curriculum is here laid out so you guys can go from 0 to advanced to see how everything looks. And then the archive library is here. So again, how do we have so many profitable students? Well, you can come back to the archive library and see, hey, how did Relentless Trader make 3,500 on this given day? Hey, how did Relentless Trader lose? Did we have a losing one somewhere here quickly? Hey, how did Relentless Trader lose 700 on this given day? I mean, there's nothing more to be said. If I'm showing people exactly what I do, they're going to learn eventually, right? Which is why we are the only we're the only business that should be allowed to sell a program, to sell a course, because most people, bro, they would never do stuff like this. They would never dare do stuff like this. But people say that I'm a maniac, I'm a madman, my ignorance perhaps is bliss. And I just show the world what I'm doing here every day. So that's why if you're struggling or you're on the fence, should check out my beautiful course, because it's 100% transparent and gives you everything that you need to help, get to the other side. We can't guarantee success because, life isn't guaranteed, but we're so transparent that we think people will do well because we show everything that we do and we're doing well as the mentors, right? So yeah, check it out. And by the way, we have again, these are things that I'm slacking on. We have like another 15 reviews that people have sent in, even with their pictures and everything, and we've just never uploaded it. There's things we have to do for sure. I'm guilty as charged, but yeah, in terms of what really matters, which is the content, the material, it's all here. Other than that, you guys can always feel free to check out the chat room where it goes down. We have so many bright members in here getting it done. And, the people will also show when they're having some hard time too, which is important, right? Because you need the transparency to show some of the red days here. D-Tex in a live account, started off green, ended up finishing red 150. Danny P ended up green 1300. Dash green 5.5K, getting it done. Marcelo getting it done. Big green day. Marcelo, one of the other mentors, up $30,000. Kersey had a bit of a rough day, down 7,700. All right. But yeah, anyhow, Tim, Big Steve, and so forth. So you guys can feel free to hit that thumbs up. And of course, that'll do it. I hope you guys enjoy. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe. Tomorrow I'll be live at 9:15 a.m. And other than that, I'll catch you guys next time. All right, remember the disclaimer, day trading is risky. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.